Hey guys, just a quick video. I'm doing the finishing touches on the reflective material for the lighting bar that we tested before. Excuse the mess. But one thing I will say is that it would have been a lot easier if when I had laid out the um, the pieces, I should have put the stuff down first and then cut it. Instead of trying to cut it on the wheel, because it's very cumbersome and it's actually taking longer than the wiring for the system. But I'm almost done, and then I just have to save up for the thin plexiglass that's going to wrap around it as well to make kind of like a halo around it to protect it from any misting or moisture. But that's almost done. So all the wires and everything I'm gonna actually splice together, and so there'll be two plugs, unless I just don't know. I have to get my brother to help me calculate the load for this wire and make sure that it's not going to pull too much. Even though they're fluorescents, they still are rated, and I just want to make sure it shouldn't really be a problem. But it's going to pull what it's going to pull, and the power supplies aren't going to let it pull anymore. So either way, if worst comes to worst, then I have more than a long enough cord to be able to just have it come out both sides, and then just get my brother to help me calculate what I do need. But this is heavy gauge grounded wire, so we'll see. So I'm almost done, and this was very helpful to mark everything. So the wires, I don't remember if I did part of the video about this, but I actually took my handy dandy labeler and made little identifiers so I could make sure I had the right ones with the right ones. But I'm going line by line, so if I cross anything, it's going to be really weird because I'm only doing one light bulb at a time. So I'm not like unhooking a whole bunch of them. I'm just doing one set at a time. So we'll see. But the good thing is that once it's done, if there's any crossing, then I can just back it out through the back side. Since there's a frame on the inside, I can back it out because the little holes I cut, which I don't know if you can still see them, but it's like right these little notches, so the wire can be pulled back out. But everything's in the exact position it was when we tested it. So, and Boomer's over there providing security, right, Boom? Boom! Boomer! Don't stick your tongue out at me. That's my head of security right there. Boomer. Really? Is that your defense mechanism? Anyway, so I did step these up to bigger screws because the pan head was a lot better than the smaller ones I had been using originally. I'm going to eventually go back, and once I put everything's done, then I'm going to straighten these to make sure that the bulbs fit properly. But I'm really excited how this is going. So, alright, thank you very much. Please leave your comments. And, oh, really quick, excuse the mess, what else is new? So, I'm putting in instead of trying to fight with figuring out what kind of pump we're going to use, I'm actually going to, in this section, I'm actually going to suspend a tank, a 5-gallon tank up there, and then it's going to have a small toilet pump, pump with a floater to fill from the actual system. So instead of trying to figure out the kind of pump we need, I'm going to use a water channel, like the pressure of the water being high, and that should be more than enough for the sprayers. And my brother and I have come up with a little bump system that the switch is going to engage, as it's like an arm, and then as it rotates it's going to engage the switch. Then when it comes off the other side, it'll shut off, and then the next one will come, and then so forth and so on. So I'm really excited because this is getting better. My only big challenge is trying to find the motor to rotate this. And I went back to the drawing board on the rollers, and instead of having fixated, I'm actually gonna leave it free spinning. I took a good welding torch and cut out well, not cut out, but melted the middle a little bit, and then put a piece of aluminum on the inside. And then I've made these bumpers that are going to restrict how much it moves back and forth. And then these are all going to be enamel bonded, so they don't rust anymore. And then we're just going to have wax grease on here, which is totally food safe. So if they start to squeak or anything, then we just squirt more wax grease in there, and that'll be part of the maintenance. But for the first model, we just want to get her done and get her going. So we'll reevaluate as part of our assessment process, and then make changes as we need to. The only thing for this is I had to make some modifications to the light bar, as you can see, and of course added this upper piece. We didn't really have this before. We just had the light bar coming up to here, and then going that way. But this way, we're going to actually have more stability and that kind of thing. And also for the connection here, it's going to be more stability. So, and then we're using those same screws that I was using on the light bar to, instead of gluing everything, because if you glue stuff and stuff breaks, then you have to like cut out all of that. So we're just going to go with screws and on both sides and go from there. So that is actually much less friction this way than it was turning the whole thing. And so the wear will be here as opposed to in there on the PVC. So that was my brother's idea. Thank you, Tim. And then I'm hoping to get an appointment with an electrical engineer, because it's not as easy as you would think to just go, oh, I'm going to go to this electric motor place and say, hey, I got this amount of weight that I need to turn continuously, really slow, one rotation every, 25 rotations in one 24-hour period, at a steady continuous rate, and this is the torque. And you'd think you'd be able to walk in and say, this is what I need, this is what... Nope. They don't have it that way. They just have motor types, and they're all used to the electrical engineer going, you need a 564 stroke 7, or we're going to build our own, instead of using what's out there, which is the whole purpose of this project, is to use what's available to minimize cost, which is, the I don't know where the picture went, but I had a picture of one of the ones that I was using, and it's $5,000. The Volksgarden is $5,000, and it will only do half of the amount of plants that mine will. And of course, you can't go online and find out what kind of motor they have, because they know exactly that's what holds people back, is usually the rotation motor. So even when you go to try to get a parts number, they're like, well, you just need to tell us that you need the replacement motor, and then we'll send it to you. And even then, from what a friend of mine who got one and tried it and ended up returning it, he said that all of the information is taken off of it. There's no part number, there's no who made it, there's no nothing. So if you even try to get somebody to come in and repair it that's not one of their people, they won't know what you're doing because they can't, you know, they just know how to fix a motor. They don't know what it is or what it does. Or I was very surprised by that. But I've been to 3 electrical motor stores, and not car motor stores, but just like industrial electrical motors. The only one that I've been able to find the information for is, of course, the one that I got from Boston Market. But that one is $624, which is more than what I've spent so far on the whole thing. Well, maybe I have to look at the budget, but I think it's actually almost $700. But still, with all that, that's including the water, the sprayers, all of that stuff. Doesn't include the plexiglass for this, but that plexiglass is not even going to be expensive because it's going to be super thin and to help reduce the amount of light that it refracts. So anyway, that's where we're at. Please leave any comments, and thank you guys for all your support and well wishes. And again, if you have any comments, please make them be nice. You don't have to just say ugly stuff. It's just not necessary. And if you have to be angry, then deal with your own emotions. Don't put them on other people. And remember my saying, emotions are gifts you give yourself. You can either give them or take them away from you. Have a great day, you guys. Bye.